Welcome back to the super, not funny show reviews. And today I'm going to be reviewing Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 5. It's entitled Charades, and it's coming to you from Paramount Plus. So, what did I think about it, and should you be watching? Before I get into the review, get down there, hit like on this video. Well, it wouldn't be a good Star Trek show without a Spock-centered episode, and in particular, a Vulcan, culture-related episode. And it all comes about because of some shenanigans with an ancient, probably super advanced culture that no one really knows about. I have to admit, this whole episode kind of hinges on a very unlikely, in my opinion, scenario, which is in the Vulcan star system, a moon that, has ruins of an old civilization that, for whatever reason, the Vulcans haven't combed over, repeatedly over the last however many hundreds of years. But somehow the Enterprise, in some downtime is going to have time to go and sort of survey it. Or in this case, Nurse Chapel wants to get some, archaeological medicine research done to kind of bolster her application to the Vulcan Science Academy for a fellowship on archaeological medicine. And, everything between her and Spock is kind of weird, has been kind of weird because of, obviously they got feelings for each other, but, he's engaged to Pring, and, he's really kind of, interested in following through on that. And we saw in the first episode that Spock really still has feelings for her because she almost died. Chapel almost died, and M'Benga almost died in that episode. So we're sort of seeing a very weirdness between them, to the point where it's all professional or whatever between them, especially as Spock has sort of gotten control of his emotions. So all of that leads to them being the only two on this shuttle that are going to this moon, and of course they get into an accident, and to the hilarity of all, Spock comes out of it thanks to these Kirkovians as all human, and now at the worst possible time, because now he has to do his engagement, I guess, ceremony with his mother, his future mother-in-law, who of course can't stand him and doesn't think he's right for T'Pring. And so he tries to keep it to himself, but his mom has to be there, and she figures it out because she's human. Of course, she notices him trying to hide it. And so a small part, a very fun part, in fact, I'd say, is seeing Spock suddenly have emotions, because he has Vulcan emotions, but there's he just suppresses them. He doesn't deal with them. But as a human, he doesn't have the skills or ability to suppress his human emotions. So now he's suddenly feeling everything, and he's like, he loves bacon and everything's hilarious, and he's hungry all the time, and there's all sorts of like non-Spock things. And I really love this aspect of the episode, if for no other reason, because Ethan Peck gets to do something besides just being Spock. Like, when I say that, I mean like he gets to emote in a far more overt manner. Usually his emoting as Spock is a lot more, begrudgingly given because he's trying to be Spock. But in this case, having his emotions run free, it's kind of manic and very, it's very interesting in the manic sort of changing of emotional states. And as he said, he's kind of like being a teenager or whatever. And seeing other people kind of respond to and react to his emotional change was very fun. But at the end of the day, they do have to actually go through with this whole ceremony, and a lot rides on it. So he opts to just lie about it, and it's a nod. Apparently, it's a nod back to the fake ear, Vulcan pointy ears from the original series, which I thought that was all fun. But really, what the real fun in this is just, he's having to deal with his future mother-in-law who just can't stand him. And I thought it was interesting in a way, because I've watched some shows and movies about kind of South Asian moms and their daughters, and how they kind of interact and deal with each other. Out of love, obviously, but T'Pril is very much a she runs her household. Her husband is, does whatever she says and his opinions, whatever hers is, and she's very much nothing's ever good enough. You're not doing enough. Everything's wrong, and she obviously doesn't approve of this half human Spock dating and eventually going to marry her daughter. And so it really kind of lends a lot of tension to the whole ceremony, which is, of course, lightened up by an interloper, if you will, of Captain Pike, which I find it funny that within this season, he really is kind of a side character in pretty much every episode except one. He's been basically a side character, and he is very much a supporting player in this, trying to alleviate stress, being the person that sort of stands in for us as the audience, as the, sort of the commentary that he's giving is what we're sort of thinking about the whole situation. And also I want to give kind of a shout out for playing Amanda Grayson, Spock's mom, Mia Kirshner. I really liked her a lot in this. There's a no nonsense about her, but she also just clearly really loves Spock and is kind of willing to do whatever to make it happen for him, to make sure that he can, get what he wants here. Because unfortunately, the accident, that wasn't his fault, and he's just kind of trying to roll with the punches. And I just think as definitely the home team there, she's really a strong performance and a strong presence within the episode, especially towards the end where Spock really shows his appreciation now that he really understands a little more about what she had to sacrifice to raise him and to be in love with a Vulcan. There's also the B plot here is of course that Chapel, she feels responsible for Spock's whole deal. So, she's trying to get into the Vulcan Science Academy for this fellowship and not feeling like she's really, good enough. But really she throws all that aside because she's worried about Spock and like that he's going to lose his wife to be, or potentially will be all human all the time if she doesn't figure out how to fix his DNA. And that sends her and also Uhura and Ortegas on let's just say a non-authorized trip back into this, into this, I guess, singularity where these Kirkovians are existing, to do her best Karen and demand to speak to the manager, because she's not satisfied with her service. And in so doing, actually has to sort of reveal something that she's been keeping, or she thinks she's keeping close to her vest, the fact that she has pretty deep feelings for Spock. And, she reveals all of this in front, embarrassingly in front of Uhura and Ortegas. But really just lets them know, like, yes, it's great that he as a human without the suppressing, abilities, he's more kind and everything like that towards her. But the part that she misses that she likes about him is the Vulcan part of him, and just kind of really open her heart up. And I think Jess Bush as Chapel, I think she's been killing it anyway, but just this is really an episode where she got to really stretch out and be more than just sort of smoky eyes at him or having a fun little quip here and there, but actually being more of a full-fledged character and voicing what she really wants, a real relationship with Spock, even though she knows it's not really in the cards because, he's engaged. Funny enough, that comes into play later. As we see at the end of the episode, he manages to make it all the way through, fully human, and to finish the ceremony and fulfill everything. But the parting shot, and this is reminiscent of something that happened in the movies, basically talking shit about his human side, and Spock really noting, and this is a bit away from the original series portrayal of him, but actually really earlier than in the original series, appreciating his human side a lot more, and really kind of giving his mom all of her flowers for how hard it must have been for her to put up with all of the BS from the very judgmental Vulcans while raising him. And he was just like, I'm fully human and I did this whole thing. So me being human isn't didn't stop me from being able to fulfill all of these obligations for this ceremony. Very good, but also that revelation does essentially put a pause on his relationship with to Pring, because she doesn't like that he didn't trust her, and she's not wrong. I want to say Gia Sandu, very good as to Pring in this. I like her character a lot more than I did originally. She's a lot more emotional than maybe you would think of from a Vulcan, just in the way the way she acts, raised her eyebrows, the way she kind of moved. And, you could tell she's really deeply hurt and also questioning, like, is this the right thing? Very, very well done there on her part. And so, of course, this leads to I think the thing, if you've been shipping Chapel and Spock, well, you got your thing this week, because they're definitely going to try to make something happen while he's on a break with T'Pring. And, normally I'd be like, that's kind of messed up. You literally just did that like an hour ago, but it's fine. I think it's probably fine that they aren't together that much anyway, but also it's pretty clear that Chapel and Spock, they've got to figure out what's going on with them, and I'm all for it. So all the way around, really like this episode. I don't want to rank these anymore. All of the episodes this season have been really good, and this is no exception. It had lots of laughs and lots of just fun character moments, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So anyway, what did you guys think about this episode? What did you think about what I had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there, and of course you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And while you're down there, do me a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps with the channel, helps to grow the channel, helps more people to see these videos. All right, thanks for joining me. Come back next week. We're going to be talking about episode 6 of Strange New Worlds Season 2. Until then, I've been Mo, your comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.